Going to get started. This is so very exciting. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, friends, and families. My name is Bridget Futrell, and I am the President and CEO of ErinOakKids. Thank you so much for joining us today at the grand opening of our new Halton site. We're thrilled that you could be here to celebrate this wonderful event. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the Honourable Kathleen Wynne, Premier of Ontario. Thank you so much for joining us here today. The Premier just had her hair done by one of the children up in our autism therapy area. The Honourable Michael Coteau, Minister of Children and Youth Services, Minister of Community and Social Services, Minister responsible for anti-racism and MPP for Don Valley East. The Honourable MPP for Oakville. The Honourable Indira Naidu-Harris, Minister of Education, Minister responsible for MPP for Halton, and the Honourable Eleanor McMahon, Minister responsible for Digital Government and MPP for Burlington. From Infrastructure Ontario, Executive Vice President John McKendrick and Senior Vice President Angelo Gismondi. From the City of Oakville, Region of Halton and Halton Hills, Mayor Rob Burton, welcome Mayor Burton, and Councillors Kathy Dudek, Sean O'Meara, Alan Ilgar, Jeff Knoll, Ann Lawler, and Jane Fogel. From our Funding Ministry of Children and Youth Services, Karen Eisler, Director, Central Region, Tony Lazaro, Director, Capital Planning and Delivery, and Stacey Weber, Director, Early Childhood Development, and many of our wonderful, wonderful program managers and supervisors from MCYS. From the ErinOakKids Board of Directors, James Sutherland, Board Chair, David Schleifer, Judith Pascoe-Wong, Marg Western, Nancy Anderson, Roseanne Longo, Paul Kelly, and Sue Bookie Bassett. And we have here also our wonderful ErinOakKids Senior Leadership Team and the Halton Management Team. From our gracious donors at the Longo's Family Charitable Foundation, Anthony Longo, Gay Longo, Roseanne Longo, and Rose Buick. From our Provincial Association at Oakers, Jennifer Churchill, our CEO, and all of the client families who are here with us today. Diana Thompson and Linda Rothney, the first two CEOs of ErinOakKids. Before we begin the official portion of the ceremony, I'd ask you perhaps to just mute the sounds on your cell phone. Please be aware that we have a number of media, photographers, and videographers capturing images here today of this grand opening, so you will be on the record. I would also ask you, if you'd like to tweet and share photos of the event on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag #EOKHaltonOpening, which is on your screen. And please don't forget to pick up your souvenir at our photo booth outside the gym. All photos of those of you who have had your likeness taken will be ready as you leave this afternoon or later this morning. And now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Chair of ErinOakKids Board of Directors, James Sutherland.
Thank you, Bridget. Good morning, honored guests and friends. We're glad to have you with us to attend this long-awaited celebration. As board chair, I've had the immense pleasure of helping steward this project to fruition. On behalf of the board of directors, I want to thank the Government of Ontario for its vision and its project. I also want to acknowledge the leadership and unwavering commitment of our President and CEO, Bridget Futrell, in working each and every day and beyond to bring these buildings to reality. She, the leadership team, and staff of ErinOakKids have shown extraordinary fortitude in meeting this goal, and that goal has been singular: to better serve children and youth with disabilities in this community now and for many years to come. This new facility and all that it offers for clients and families will set a new standard of excellence in the delivery of services for kids with disabilities. It is one of 3 new buildings, as you may know, one here in Halton, another in Mississauga, and a third in Brampton, designed to bring therapy, medical and support, and recreational services together in a single location for children and youth with disabilities. With the addition of a 26-bed facility at the Brampton site, ErinOakKids now houses Ontario's largest respite centre for children who are medically fragile, have complex care needs, or behavioral challenges. This space will provide critically needed periods of relief for caregivers, as well as meaningful support and programming for client participants. As a collective, these buildings represent and exemplify all that ErinOakKids embodies: bright, open, inviting, and functional multi-use spaces offer hope and encouragement, and they optimize potential for the children and youth we serve, their families, and our community. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I extend our deepest gratitude to all of our supporters on this journey, whose final destination is marked today. Thank you.
I've got lots of water. Where's the wine? Oh, wait, that's later, right? Good morning, everyone. And again, I thank you for joining us to celebrate this truly historic occasion. Upon beginning this journey many, many moons ago, we had no idea how long the road might be, what turns it might take, and when we might reach our ultimate destination. What we did have was an abiding passion and a singular vision, built upon that of the families who founded ErinOakKids almost 50 years ago, and all those who came after. Simply, it was to replace the outdated, undersized, and inaccessible office spaces we inhabited with new, warm, welcoming spaces, specifically designed to meet the needs of the children and youth with disabilities and special needs we are so very privileged to serve. Spaces that would play to their strengths, take them to the edge of possibility and beyond, and allow them to thrive, each in their own unique and very special way. In short, we yearned for more, we needed more, because we believed the kids deserved more. And that dream of tomorrow has become today's reality, thanks to so many. We could never have known at the beginning of the journey how much it would entail, nor how rewarding would be the outcome. This morning, we gather to mark a new beginning for ErinOakKids, its 850 staff, and its 17,000 client families. We are so proud, and we are so grateful to be unveiling the first of our 3 new state-of-the-art centers. This Halton facility now provides a single point of care for families previously faced with the prospect of traveling to multiple locations to receive their services. For the first time, the children we serve have access to a broad array of therapy, medical, autism, and support services, all provided by ErinOakKids and all under one roof, in new and augmented spaces designed to achieve and advance their learning, promote their participation and independence, and meet their families' goals. This fully integrated and expanded menu of services, made possible by these new facilities, will change the trajectory and the future for our young charges and for the Halton communities in which they live and play, and one day will contribute and work as adults. And while we have lived in our new home for just a moment, the benefits accruing and the rewards being reaped are already highly evident. All one needs to do to be very certain is to look around, to listen and watch as parents gather in the resource center to trade thoughts and to network, as children and their therapists count the climbing stairs at the feature stairs, or bid farewell in the treehouse after a therapy session. And there are an abundance of smiles and goals met as children interact on the therapeutic playgrounds or gather at the truth windows to learn about the inner workings of a building and explore their world. Place matters, And in this place, children and youth are building skills, participating, learning, building relationships, and acquiring hobbies and interests that will last them a lifetime. And that is the job of all children, to be and to grow with the help and support of the community surrounding all of them. That is what will happen here for thousands of children now and for many, many more in the years to come. The nature and the design of these buildings, the opportunities they afford and the connections they foster, they will provide a place in which children and youth can and will maximize their abilities and define their own unique potential, as do we all in the richness of time. We are so honored to be part of this legacy, to be connected to the past and to the future, and to carry forward the work of the intrepid parents who established ErinOakKids for their children nearly 50 years ago. It will continue to evolve and grow in this beautiful new facility, thanks to so many. Premier Wynne and our Government of Ontario, thank you for your leadership in making this investment in the children and youth with disabilities in our communities. To our Ministry of Children and Youth Services, both capital and operating branches, for your remarkable and unfailing support as we have moved through all phases of this project. To Minister Flynn, whose stalwart support and encouragement were instrumental to this success, we are forever grateful. And to Ministers Michael Coteau, Indira Naidoo-Harris, and Eleanor McMahon, thank you so much. To our wonderful donors who provided funding for all that you see in these new buildings, to the host of supporters we are proud to call friends of ErinOakKids, we are deeply indebted to you all. Together, we have worked to lay the foundation for the coming chapters in the story of ErinOakKids. We know it will be a bright one filled with endless hope and possibility. And now it is my distinct privilege to introduce the 25th Premier of Ontario, the Honourable Kathleen Wynne. Premier Wynne was first elected as the Member of Provincial Parliament for Don Valley West in 2003 and served as Minister for 5 departments before becoming Premier. Since taking office in 2013, Premier Wynne's accomplishments include balancing the provincial budget for the first time in a decade, making record-breaking infrastructure investments in Ontario's roads, schools, hospitals, and transit systems, and securing an historic national agreement to improve retirement security by enhancing the Canada Pension Plan. Her government's investment in infrastructure like this very building is creating new opportunity for children and youth with disabilities and giving every child in Ontario the very best possible start. Premier Wynne, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you so much. And it is truly an honor to be here. And I would say that we're here with some intrepid parents today, too. Not just the ones from 50 years ago, but so to the families, thank you so much for being with us here this morning and sharing your stories. I had an opportunity to talk with some of you and meet with your fantastic children and be hairdressed by one of your fantastic children. So I haven't looked in the mirror and I'm not gonna. Because when you got curly hair, what you really want is to have your hair redone. So it's an honor to be here with all of you. You know, Bridget, your team, Jamie, your team, it is just such an honor. And I know that everyone in this room, in one way or another, has had a role to play in making ErinOakKids and the new facilities a reality. I don't know what each one of you has done, but I know that you have either cheered someone on who's been working on it, or you've asked everyone you know to make a donation, or you work here, or you just have phoned Kevin Flynn to bug him a lot. But whatever you've done, you've contributed, and we're very, very grateful to you, because that's how government works, is with the community and in partnership and being pushed and prodded and making decisions in the best way that we can to work with community. So thank you very, very much, all of you, for your contributions. And I'll just begin by acknowledging that we're on the gathering place for nations such as the Wendat and Anishinaabe. And we're actually meeting in an area covered by Treaty 13A, which is known as the head of the lake purchase, which the Crown signed with the Mississaugas of the New Credit. So I think that you talked about greenfield sites, and these are greenfield sites that you built on that have been inhabited for generations. And what better space, what better use of this space than this beautiful facility? And I'll just say that, you know, as we determine how we measure success as government, as society, I can't imagine a better measure of success than this place. So congratulations. Already more than 16,000 children, as you've already heard, or I think it's 17,000, isn't it? 17,000, and their families count on ErinOakKids every single year. And those services used to be spread over 10 different sites. And the truth was that, as I understand it, they couldn't keep up with the demand because there was just too much and the spaces were not adequate. And now these spaces have come together in 3 new state-of-the-art modern facilities. So families seeking care, a whole range of care, we heard this morning, have a clear destination for their kids, where they'll be able to access coordinated and responsive treatment, and staff members have a beautiful and modern facility to continue their excellent work. And as Bridget said, place matters. It really does matter, the quality of the place that people get to learn in and be nurtured in and work in. Les nouvelles installations d'ErinOakKids aideront un plus grand nombre d'enfants et de jeunes atteints de déficiences physiques et de troubles du développement à apprendre, à grandir et à devenir autonomes. These new facilities will make a huge difference in the lives of kids. And what I heard this morning is that they're already making a huge difference in the lives of kids across the region. I heard a story about a child named Grace earlier. When she was just 2, she developed a rare disorder that causes her bones to become very weak and brittle. Her bones were fracturing every day, and her parents were terrified. They needed a place to turn for help, and ErinOaks was there. Your programs have helped Grace work on her balance, her walking, and her strength, and we had an opportunity to visit the Snoozlin room this morning. I saw the speech pathology room. I saw Gavin working on some projects in his lunch snack room space. But ErinOakKids also put Grace's family in touch with other resources so that they can continue to address her changing needs. And I just want to say that's one of the things that impressed me this morning is the notion of the hub and the resources being connected. And I talked to some families about school and how the ErinOakKids is working with school and vice versa. That hasn't always been the case, as many of you know. And so it is really important that that connection is in place. So this is the kind of care that families tell us that they need right now. And I believe that it's government's responsibility to be there to help. In fact, I think that's what government exists to do, is to do the things that we can't do by ourselves, that we need support in. So we're investing in care, and we're investing in the people we count on every day to provide that care. Our budget made the deliberate choice to invest in care so that we can expand services for people living with developmental disabilities. And to do that, we're investing $1.8 billion over the next 3 years to provide them with better care. On top of that, we're including new funding at our schools to improve special education services, and that's that connection that I was talking about. We're adding 2,000 new teachers and education workers to help eliminate wait lists for special education assessments and relieve some of that anxiety for kids and parents. And because we know how important it is, we're making this new special education funding permanent, because I know for the educators in the room, yes, you'd worry about that. We're also providing an extra $62 million through the new Ontario Autism Program to help children and their families access more behavioral intervention, family support, and training. And I know that Minister Koto has worked very closely and in fact met one of the parents who he talked to when we were going through the transition to the new program. So we're going to add more money to the $500 million that we already made as an investment to improve services for children and youth with on the autism spectrum disorder continuum. So these investments will change the lives of so many children and so many families across Ontario with your help. And they build on what we've already done to help to erase pressures that families face every day across the province, including our investment in the 3 new ErinOak centres. So here's what I believe. I believe that now more than ever, government needs to invest in care, not cuts, and government needs to invest in the care that people have said to us very clearly that they need in order to be able to take part in their communities. So these are social investments, but they are economic investments, because everyone in this community who has access to ErinOaks will do better in their lives because of the support that they're receiving. That means they can take part in their community. That means that they can be more productive at their workplaces, and that's better for everyone. So these investments are, as a society, in our enlightened best interests. And of course, they are in the best interests of the children too. So that's the reason that I go to work every day, to find ways to build a province where everyone has the tools that they need to be able to participate and to be able to be at their very best. So again, thank you so much. You are doing wonderful, wonderful work here. I'm just trying to check if I need to throw at anyone, but I don't. I think Bridget's coming back up. That's classic, I forget. Thank you so much for everything that you do. It is a wonderful place, and you're making lives so much better. Thank you so much. Merci.
Thank you, Premier Wynne, and thank you for caring so much about all of the citizens of this wonderful province. I would like now to call upon the Minister of Children and Youth Services, Michael Koto. Minister Koto was first elected to the legislature in 2011 as the MPP for Don Valley East. He also serves as the Minister of Community and Social Services and the Minister responsible for anti-racism. Prior to entering government, Minister Koto served as a school board trustee and raised awareness around student hunger that resulted in the implementation of healthy food programs. He was a champion of the integration of technology in educational settings. Under the vision and the leadership of the Ministry of Children and Youth Services, ErinOakKids embarked upon and fulfilled our dream of new facilities for children and youth with disabilities. Minister Koto.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief. I just want to say thank you to all of the staff, to the parents, to all the donors who are here today and who have worked in the past to ensure that we could be at this point today. I also want to thank Kevin for his advocacy. It's been a long journey, but we're here today, and I think you should be very proud of your work. I know that years from now you'll be driving by, and every time you drive by you have a bit of a smile knowing that you played a role in making this happen. I also want to thank the 2 ministers who are here, part of the region, for their great work and advocacy as well. But I want to thank the Premier because Premier and I, we come from the Toronto District School Board. We were trustees before, and we're doing what we do because we want to make sure that families and children have the opportunity to find success in Ontario. That's what attracted me to putting my name on a ballot, and I know that's what motivated the Premier to get involved, to make sure that families have what they need to find success. I think that when we really think about why we're doing what we're doing, is to ensure that families have that success so young people can reach their full potential. When I think about children in general, being the minister responsible for Children and Youth Services, I think that all of us in Ontario have a duty to ensure that all children have the services that they need to find success. So it's not only your children, but it's your next door neighbor, it's the kids in the community, and it's the kids right across this province. And I think we should be proud as Ontarians that we put a lot of resources into making sure that young people get the education they need. And I know the Premier changed the rules around OHIP Plus, so young people now can get the medicine when they need it. Investments like this contribute to a young person reaching their full potential, so they can get to a point where they can decide if they want to go into a skilled trade, if they want to go into post-secondary, college or university. And now that young people have the option to go, and if a family is finding it difficult to pay, they can qualify for free tuition. This is about building a stronger Ontario through the investments we make in our children. So, Premier, thank you so much for standing up for families, for children, and I want to thank everyone here for the work that they do. I'll just end by saying this. The Premier mentioned I met a family here today, and when I get to have conversation, I've had so many conversations with families. When I speak to a mother or a father about their journey for their child, and to see a young person a year ago who wasn't able to speak, was nonverbal, a year later is in a setting like this and is fully having great conversations and styling the Premier's hair, to me, that's an incredible journey for a family. And the investments we make into children at an early age lead to a stronger child, obviously, and a stronger family, but a stronger Ontario, because it's the best investments we can make. And I just want to give a shout out to, I know the donors are here. I heard that the Longo family was here. Are they here? Yeah, I want to say thank you very much, because the work you do around student nutrition and student hunger, and the work you do here, it's incredible. Thank you for investing in children. Yeah. Thank you. There's almost 1 million young people in this province that benefit from student nutrition programs in our schools across the province. It's ministered through my ministry and, of course, with the Minister of Education. But that couldn't be possible without your work and contribution. So thank you. And thank you for being here. And thank you so much. Congratulations. Congratulations. This is going to be a great new journey for Ontario.
Sorry, guys, I drew the short straw on MPP, so you get to see a lot of me today on being the person who introduces everyone, which is my honor, but I do get a lot of face time here with you. Okay, so thank you, and now I would like to introduce Minister Flynn. Minister Flynn was first elected to the Ontario Legislature in 2003 as MPP for Oakville. He has been the longest-serving MPP in the Oakville riding and a stalwart supporter of ErinOakKids and this project right from its inception. I think I'm one of those people that they talked about as being the one on the phone bugging you all the time. That was me. But you were always so kind and generous. As Minister of Labour, Minister Flynn extended workplace protection for firefighters and introduced legislation to increase fairness for vulnerable workers. Prior to being elected MPP, Minister Flynn served as an Oakville Town and Halton Regional Councillor for more than 18 years. He has always been a dedicated champion of this community. Please welcome Honourable Kathleen Wynne.
Thank you. Well, it is a pleasure to be here this morning, and Eleanor will know that I say you probably get a handful of these events in your life. There's probably 5 things you'll do in a political career that you'll sort of look back on and go, God, that was neat. And when I was first elected in my 20s, I thought the job of being a politician was to go to council, And you put your hand up every so often. You either agreed with something, you didn't agree with something, you spouted off about something, then you went home. I found out from time to time you had to represent the mayor or you had to represent the regional chair. And one of the first things I had to do in representing the regional chair, who was Pete Pomeroy at the time, was go to ErinOaks, of which I knew nothing about. And I walked in the door and my eyes were opened. And over the years, I watched the work that was done there. I watched how the need grew. I watched how the research and the treatment and everything else grew as well. But I also watched as the organization needed more and more and more facilities and was stretching out into a way that became kind of unmanageable. So some of the folks from ErinOaks came to see me one day and they said, you know, we're really at a breaking point. We're really at a point where we really need to do something more strategic. We need to pull this all together. And I don't know how long ago it was, but I was so proud when we were in Mississauga and Minister Laurel Broughton, who's been gone from Ontario politics quite some time, made the announcement that these buildings would be built. And it's taken us that long to get there. I remember, Bridget, you coming into my office and saying, well, we got the approvals. Where's a good place to put it? And we're going through a previous government, without being partisan, had a different view of what this land should be. People thought it should be employment lands. We need employment in the community. It was, it was a really viable option. We thought it should remain in public hands. We thought that this land that you're in would be good land for the future. It's now turned into a conservation area, playing fields, hospital, ErinOak right in the middle of it, and the courthouse to be built right next door. So it's one of those things where we kept it in public hands because we thought the public may have a need for it in the future, and they certainly did, because you look today at what's being built. You take a tour like we took today. I, too, was a proud recipient of a completely complimentary and completely involuntary hairstyling session. So the Premier fared much better than I did in it. And Michael didn't get an offer. I have no idea why. But it's days like this. It really is days like this that make you proud of the work you've been able to do as a community, proud of the community you live in, proud of the government premier that you work with and for, proud of your colleagues, proud of the people. I see some people here from Oakville Town Council, from Regional Council, Al and Kathy and Jeff and his wife Michelle, and Mayor Burton is here. I mean, everybody pulls together. When you need to get something like this done, it really does take a community to get that done. Just before we came here today, we went to a model parliament. Just down the road, Abbey Park, the Premier and I were there. The Speaker of the House was there. The real Speaker of the House, Dave Levac, was there to conduct the model parliament for the kids at Abbey Park. And one of the last questions we got was from the kids, how can I get involved? What can I do? I thought, well, I'm going to ErinOaks next. I'm going to tell her, the young lady, that she might want to volunteer at ErinOaks, or she might want to come up here, find out what ErinOaks is all about. So I suggested she do that. On the way out, a lovely little young lady who's about 11, in grade 11, I would imagine, somewhere around that, just grabbed my forearm and she goes, I'm an ErinOaks kid. Thanks for saying that. You know? And she said, I couldn't walk straight, but now I can. And it's just, it just all came together, at a good time. I promised I wouldn't cry, and I'm not going to. So when you go around a building like this and you meet guys like Gavin and his brother and Mark, who I met when I came in the door, and people like Carter and the lovely unnamed hairstylist, who I have to get her name and pass it on to my wife. When you meet people like that, you realize that it's one of those days. It's one of those days where you'll do something, you'll be part of something, and as Michael said, you'll drive by this building and you'll say, I was part of that. So thank you.
This is such an exciting day. I don't think we've ever had the privilege of having so many dignitaries in our midst at one time, and I'm so glad that we're actually videoing this, because I don't think I'm going to remember it. It's so exciting. Thank you, Minister Flynn. I would now like to call upon the Honourable Indira Naidu-Harris Minister Naidoo-Harris was first elected to the Ontario Legislature in 2014 as the MPP for Halton. She currently serves as Minister of Education and Minister responsible for early years and child care. After graduate work at the University of Alberta, she moved to the U.S. for 2 years, where she began a career in journalism, working briefly for NBC and PBS. Minister Naidoo-Harris went on to build a career as a writer, reporter, producer, and news anchor at the international, national, and regional levels. She has won numerous awards for her work and volunteerism for national and international causes. Please welcome the Honorable Indira Naidoo-Harris.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that lovely introduction, and good morning, everyone. I have to start out by saying, Kevin, you're a tough act to follow. Absolutely. But, you know, it is such a pleasure to be here with you all today, and I have to say, we made it. We made it. Yeah. I remember being here some time back on a cold, blustery, windy day, Kevin and I standing out there and the rest of us being there blowing around and making an announcement that we were going to actually do this. And here we are, fast forward, and it's done. We're here, it's up and running, and it is absolutely an amazing space, and a space that every single person in this room should really feel that they had a role in and they played a part in making happen. So congratulations to all of you. You know, this is such a milestone for Halton and for our community. I took the tour, and yes, Premier, your hair looks fantastic. I mean, it really does. I don't know if you realize that, but it was so wonderful to bump into Gavin and Tyler and Carter and all those young people who just reminded us of what this is all about. It's about those kids. It's about ensuring that they are getting the supports and the services they need. And it is so clear to me that the work that goes on in this building is really just about creating a very special place. A safe haven, a place where really a blanket is put around those children, and where we really are able to be here and they're able to be here feeling looked after, cared after, and where their dreams become reality. And so I am so thankful that Halton families have access to the state-of-the-art facility. So thank you, Premier Wynne. Your leadership every day really reminds me and everyone about just how important all those decisions have been along the way, and how you are really leading the way and making sure that we are creating the kind of society that we all want to live and belong to. So thank you. I also want to thank the Minister of Children and Youth Services, Michael Coteau, for supporting this project and working hard to make it a reality. It's so good to be here. A big thank you and a big recognition has to go to Minister Flynn. You all know how long and how tirelessly and what a strong voice he is for this community. I have always called him my big brother. I still do it. And he now refers to me as his little sister. But it's because, he has done so much for the community and spoken up when it needed to be said, and made sure that this facility was on his radar and actually was that voice. And so thank you, Kevin, and thank you for having us all here today and on this wonderful day. Eleanor McMahon. Eleanor is amazing, our Treasury Board Chair, our just amazing neighbor in this community, and always a strong voice for Halton. So pleased to be here. Especially good to be here with Bridget, James, Allison, and the whole ErinOakKids family in celebration. This is your celebration. This is about the work that you do here, and you work so hard for the families and youth of Halton. Over the years, I know how committed you've been to creating a place and creating wellness in our community, and what we are doing here today is really all about you. This project means incredible things for youth and for children in our community. The care that they get here is really about that cocoon and creating a holistic way to look at things, an integrated way that creates, like I said earlier, a blanket of support. And so today is the beginning. It marks an even brighter future for our children and our families. And really, this facility, I know, will be a landmark and a milestone when it comes to how we should be looking at young people in our communities who have special needs and are facing challenges in their lives, and how when we all put our efforts together, we can create a special place that really rises to the occasion. And so thank you for having me here today. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please join me now in welcoming to the stage the Honourable Eleanor McMahon. Minister McMahon was first elected to the Ontario Legislature in 2014 as the MPP for Burlington. She currently serves as President of the Treasury Board, and who doesn't want to have somebody from Treasury Board in the room? And Minister responsible for digital government. She has spent her career in senior roles in business, government, and the not-for-profit sector. Minister McMahon held a number of roles on Parliament Hill early in her career, including press secretary to Jean Chrétien. She has served as Director of Public Affairs at the Canadian Advisory Council on the Status of Women, as well as Vice President at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Please welcome the Honourable Eleanor McMahon.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget, for that very kind introduction. What a great crowd you are here this morning. Merci, chers amis. Je suis très ravie d'être ici avec vous tous. Merci, au fond du cœur, de nous avoir invités. C'est une journée fantastique et spéciale pour nous autres d'être ici avec vous tous, surtout les familles et les enfants. Merci. It really is an honor and a privilege to be here, and thank you, Bridget, for that kind introduction. And Dara and I were reflecting, sitting there, about when your resume is read aloud, and you have two immediate reactions, and I'm sure most of my colleagues in private life and public life share this. One, how old am I? I've done all that stuff. Second, that really, to be here with all of you here today is such a privilege and an honor for all of us in public service. This is really, truly the best of what public service is. Having the opportunity to be here with you, to see the joy and the change that this brings to people's lives. It really is incredibly gratifying. So thank you. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. I want to start by thanking our Premier, not just for being here today to celebrate this important milestone for Halton Region and for our province, and welcoming her to our region, but to echo the comments of my colleagues and talk about what a privilege it is to work for somebody every day who cares so deeply about people. I know, and I've said this to people, that when the Premier's head hits the pillow every night, and when she wakes up every morning and she runs 3 or 4 times a week, that the last thing that she thinks about, and the first thing she thinks about, are people like the people that we saw here today. And I saw her in conversation with parents and their children. I saw the conversation she was having, and I was telling one of the staff that the reason she's doing that is twofold. Number one, she cares deeply about those stories and the people's lives that are here, but also because she takes those stories back with her and she shares them with people in other locations around the province, and she uses them to change policy. Having had the privilege this year of working on the budget for the first time with the Premier and Charles Sousa, in those interactions she will cite occasions like she's had today with Allison and her wonderful children to say, I met some wonderful people at Erin Oaks, and this is what it meant to me. And this is what the investment that we made in them and in their lives is making to them and to our society and to our province. When you have the privilege to work with someone who cares so deeply about people and whose commitment every single day is to invest in their lives and make them better, there really isn't a better job. So you can talk about all the things on my resume that I've done, Bridget, but this work that we're doing here today and the work that we all get to do every day is such an immense privilege. So thank you, Premier. Yes, you can clap. We're almost done. I know. I want those running shoes, by the way, that are glow in the dark. They're great. Of course, the Premier leaves a great team, of which I am a privileged part, including Michael Coteau, Indira Naidoo-Harris, my friend and neighbor and collaborator and conspirator in all good ways, and Kevin Flynn. I'm going to talk about him at the end. All of them passionate investors in the lives of people, in the lives of children, and in the ecosystem of support around them, because we all share a common goal of nurturing these children and giving them the best start in life. This is a very special day indeed, coming together to celebrate the opening of this beautiful center that supports the treatment and development of children and youth with physical and developmental disabilities, autism, communication disorders, and children with complex care needs. This morning we had the pleasure, and premiers and others have spoken of it, of touring this wonderful place and meeting some of the amazing young patients and the many dedicated and hardworking professionals and their parents too. It was incredibly inspiring to see firsthand the difference that this place and the hearts and minds within it are making in the lives of our children and the wonderful village that embraces them. I'm very proud to be part of a government that is taking the necessary steps to support Ontario's most precious resource, our children. It is very gratifying as a public servant to make these kinds of investments, both as the MPP for Burlington and in my capacity as President of the Treasury Board, where I often oversee these, every day I oversee these kinds of important investments that we are making in people's lives and in our society. And I often think about what we can do to build a system that provides faster access to care and services, that provide tools to clinicians and educators to provide the kinds of therapeutic supports that these kids need and that we all need at some stage in our lives. What kind of investments can we make so that we're providing the best high-quality care for children like these, and indeed all Ontarians across the spectrum of their lives? As my colleague Michael Coteau often says, the hallmark of a civil and caring society is how we care for our most fragile and our most vulnerable. And a lot of the answers to these questions and what kind of investments we need to make may seem obvious, but they are underscored in this place and in the conversations we've had today. Today is an illustration of how we are working to meet our most important goal, to put people and the care that they need first. As a community, we should all be very proud of this new facility, and I really have had very little to do with it beyond cheering Kevin on, beyond working with the Premier and my colleagues to support this important investment. This is enhancing the quality of life of thousands of children and youth for years to come. And I want to thank Bridget and her caring and dedicated staff, James Sutherland and the members of the board for their guidance, and the generous donors. I'm very proud that the Longo family is here. Michael mentioned them. They're people of great discernment. They live in Burlington. Yep. And we're very proud of them. You know, it's when you go to Longo's, it's an embodiment of the family. You go into the store, and they are so active in our community, and they make investment that change people's lives. So thank you to the Longo family for being here and for what you do. In closing, I'd like to give a special shout out to our friend and neighbor and our big brother, as Indira and I like to say, Kevin Flynn, who's having a great hair day, by the way. Kevin stole my line, but I'm going to repeat it. He said to Indira and I so often that once or twice in your career as a public servant, you have an extraordinary opportunity, be it a hospital, be it an endeavor like this one. And Kevin's had both of those opportunities because he's worked so hard. You get a chance to do something really significant that you know is going to make an intergenerational difference in people's lives. And in that spirit, I'd like to quote Maya Angelou, because she had a quote that I found that I think sums up Kevin so well, both from the perspective of his community and his work as Minister of Labour and how he fights on behalf of the people of our province to bring them equity and to change their lives. The quote goes something like this: I do my best because I'm counting on you, counting on me. So thank you, Kevin. You've poured your heart and soul into this place, and it wouldn't be here without you. Thank you, my friend.
So our Premier was just asking me who her hairdresser was. And we've just inquired, and our budding hairdresser is Malia Lewis. She's 6 years old, and she's one of our young clients with autism. I don't know if she has put out a shingle yet, so I don't know if she's taking appointments, but I will talk with her mother because I think I could use her assistance. Okay, we now actually have a video that we would like to show you. It's a short video, but it gives you a little bit of a sense of the journey that we have been on as we have built these wonderful new facilities. It seems hard to believe, a little bit surreal, in fact, that we are actually here. And this has been a journey of 10 years. We did a lot of advocating at Queen's Park. We had asked for 3 sites. So when we were approved for 3 sites and for our wonderful 26-bed respite facilities, it was a very poignant moment. In May 2011, to much fanfare, we were announced as the biggest redevelopment project in the history of Ministry of Children and Youth Services. Next came the fun of finding and buying our new sites. And in 2015, we broke ground on all 3 sites. It's real, finally. We will open new doors to empower the children we serve to pursue their dreams for the next 40 years and beyond.
These 3 new buildings exemplify everything that ErinOakKids stands for. They are going to set an example for how children with disabilities will be treated.
This is an idea that's taken from a concept shown on a set of drawings that resulted in the fabulous buildings that we have now. We purposely designed all 3 buildings to be very similar.
As the buildings were being designed and built, we were also redesigning and reorganizing ourselves so that once we both came together and we actually moved in, our staff would be comfortable, they'd be prepared and trained and ready to hit the ground running and start delivering services to clients and families. These buildings are going to be bigger than anything we're used to. These buildings are going to have technology that we don't have right now. These buildings are going to bring teams together that have never been brought together before. So all of that required us to really take a high-level view of how we organized ourselves and how we worked together.
Welcome you all to our first speech meeting on site. No more community centers, gyms, libraries. I hope everyone's been settling into your new sites, your new desks, exploring the toys.
The most meaningful moment of this project was driving up to the new sites on the first day of service delivery to clients and families, seeing our beautiful buildings, seeing the ErinOakKids flag waving, and welcoming our little clients and their families.
Being there as those very first clients walked through the door, being able to watch them as they interacted with the space.
Ezra walks in and he's all over the map, checking out all the cool doors and hallways. He sees this fireplace, which is like the coolest thing to him.
These little details that were incorporated into the building and into the design instantly became part of the experience of ErinOakKids. The truth windows, there were 3 children in a row with their faces just glued to the window watching the elevator gears.
He runs through the doors. I can't keep up with him in the parking lot.
It's bigger and better.
It is so open. It is so bright. This building is full of hope. All the windows and the light and the colors just speak to that.
ErinOakKids is finally in buildings that represent the amazing work that gets done here at ErinOakKids.
These buildings are a game changer.
There's greater opportunity for interprofessional when we all get to work alongside of each other.
I can just hop over to somebody's desk and quickly get some professional development in a short period of time.
So there's more opportunities for collaboration.
it's important for parents to be able to come to a single site for all the services that they need for their children.
It has all the facilities that the kids need, the gyms, the washrooms.
There are things that I can do here that I could never do at my site before. Our ADL kitchen, our playgrounds, our gym. There's just so many more services that we can do now that we couldn't do before. They've made the site fun. So it's not just a place to come for therapy, but it's a fun place that family members want to go to and spend time.
We have all the toys and tools that we need in these bright, beautiful spaces. Kids are really happy to come back again and again.
I like it because it's fun and it's where I get to see my friends I don't get to see every single day.
It's the biggest respite facility in the province, and it's the only respite facility that will allow us to serve children who are otherwise hard to serve and whose families never get a break. So children who are medically complex and children who are behaviorally complex.
It's kind of like where I grew up, basically, like home to me.
Every kid wants to go to this place because they feel like happy.
I don't know what I would have done without ErinOakKids.
Buildings and things are shiny for a second, but a relationship is always shiny. It's the people. The biggest impact ErinOakKids is having on our lives, Ezra's lives, is giving us the tools to better his life. He was never supposed to have function below the waist. He was never supposed to stand. He was never supposed to crawl. He was never supposed to ride a bike.
We bring about change here. We bring about hope here. There are things that our clients do here that they've never done for their families before. I've heard first words. I've been there for first steps. And those type of miracles get to happen here. And that is absolutely amazing.
These buildings could not have come to fruition without the assistance of many. To the Government of Ontario, our funding Ministry of Children and Youth Services, our local MPPs, and generous donors, thank you so very much. These new facilities will stand for decades as a legacy to your vision and your support. It sounds age-worn and trite, but I honestly believe there is absolutely nothing we cannot do when we come together as a community to support one another and make things better. And these buildings, this building is just one example of that. Thank you to everyone. It is now my great pleasure to invite to the stage an ErinOakKids family, what we're all about. The Brunn family, parents Allison and Kelly, and our 6-year-old stars, Gavin and Tyler. I told you were going to get lots of pictures today, so come on up. Please come up.
Do you want to say something?
Yes.
Oh, okay, what to say?
Whoa.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
You want to say something? Sorry, this wasn't in the schedule. But...
Hello, everybody.
Hello. It's a privilege to be able to speak to you all today about my family's experience at ErinOakKids. Behind me is my beautiful family, my husband, Kelly, and our 6-year-old twin boys, Gavin, wave, hi, and Tyler. So we were first referred to ErinOakKids back when the boys were almost 3 years old for speech therapy services. The appointments with the speech therapist, Susan Cowan, helped tremendously, and the parent training I received at each visit was invaluable. Over time, we saw a lot of positive changes in Tyler's speech development, but Gavin did not excel as quickly as his brother. We began to realize that some of his behaviors, such as lack of eye contact, repetitive movements, an inability to have anything touch his head, and his fascination with spinning wheels were not simply because of a developmental delay, but because of something else. And after seeing many different doctors, Gavin started the developmental assessment process at ErinOakKids. And on February 6th of last year, Gavin was diagnosed with autism. And since that day, ErinOakKids has been a staple in our family life. and no question has ever been too small. Gavin began attending the full-day autism program 3 days a week in April of last year. This program, combined with all the information and support we have received through speech services, physical therapy, and occupational therapy, has made an absolutely amazing difference in not just Gavin's life, but in our entire family and extended family's lives. Gavin is always excited to come to this beautiful facility. The outdoor play areas have assisted him with his sensory needs and encouraged him to finally wear a hat on his head when it is cold outside. And for him, this was a huge achievement. And what makes this facility even better is all the services that children and their families benefit from are now under one roof. With Gavin's autism therapy in the same location as other services he receives, particularly his occupational therapy, all his therapists are better able to collaborate as a team and develop consistent strategies and goals for him in his therapy. Sorry. Gavin was once a boy who would sit in a corner and keep to himself. Now he is initiating play with others, verbally communicating his feelings, and using his imagination to make up fun stories. He has become a strong-willed and opinionated boy with a love of all things to do with outer space and rocket ships, and a deep interest in cooking. And what's so amazing is the gap between Gavin and Tyler is closing, meaning they can play together and finally build that important brotherly bond. Excuse me. We are eternally grateful for ErinOakKids and the marvelous staff who work here in this building every day. Kids like Gavin are working hard to take small steps forward in achieving their goals. And with the continued support and encouragement of ErinOakKids, these children can continue down a path of success and families can have positive dreams and hopes for the future. Thank you so much to everyone.
Okay, we have ribbon cutting and then we have cake. So we're just going to do the ribbon cutting and then you're going to do your remarks, okay? All right, so could I ask the entire first row to come up, please, for our ribbon cutting?
And ErinOakKids is thrilled to be an integral part of that future. It's exciting to know that this new space will facilitate the growth and development of the next generations of children and youth with disabilities in Halton Region. On behalf of myself and the entire Board of Directors, I would like to thank you all for joining us today to celebrate this extraordinary moment. Now I'd like to invite our clients and families to join our dignitaries, myself, and our CEO for cake cutting and cake eating and photos. And just a little housekeeping. All guests are invited for lunch at 11:30 in our Learning Center. Look for volunteers outside the gym for assistance in locating that area.